Hello everyone and welcome back to Why Not Read Some Books. My name is Marian and in today's video I will be discussing Walking in My Joy in the Streets, Jenifer Lewis. This is book one for the book selection for February 2023 for Black History Month. There are two Black authors that were chosen. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it above or below. I have a root beer instead of wine today because it is a work day. But if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time a video is dropped. And if you enjoyed this video and this review, please give it a big thumbs up. Now, this is part one. I will break this up more than likely into 4 parts to give people an opportunity to catch up, to read, and also to leave their thoughts down below on what they think about the book, what they think about the stories that she talks about. So without further ado, I'm gonna hop right into giving my review. So there are 24 chapters in this book, and there's a epilogue. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And of course it has credits and permissions, acknowledgments, and career overview. Also with this book, I love the fact that there are actual pictures in here of like her accolades and different phases of her life. If you didn't know, Jenifer Lewis is from Fenlock, Missouri, which is on the outskirts of Ferguson, Missouri. So I'm just going to be talking about the first 4 chapters that I read, and in part 2 I will kind of like catch up and do, since it's 24, it would be 6 chapters, so I'll probably just talk about 8 chapters in the next one, so therefore, you know, it could be right on time since I said it'd be broken up into 4 parts. But chapter 1 is In These Streets. Chapter 2 is The Black House. Chapter 3 is This Thing. And then chapter 4 is Demonetized. And one thing I like about this book so far, you can read it in her voice and her mannerisms, you know, and her spunk. You can definitely tell that she wrote majority of this book, or she made sure that the editors or whomever was narrating or whoever was assisting her with writing this book came from an authentic place. You can definitely tell that. She has siblings that still live in Missouri. So In These Streets, which is the first chapter, goes into her being on set, and this is in 2016 when Donald Trump was running for president. And I think with him running for president and ending up winning, woke up something inside of her to be more of service and to be more active in the political realm. And plus with other things that was taking place, it kind of hit her, you know, it hit home. It made her realize her purpose in life was more than just being an actress or, you know, a Hollywood star. Now, it's funny because, you know, she cracks her jokes. The Black House talks about her time when she went to go visit Barack and Michelle Obama. This was their last event before leaving the White House. And it talks about the family from the Charleston church, where Dylan Roof, I think I'm saying his name right, came into the church and killed the parishioners. So the Obamas had their family there, and she just talks about how genuine President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama was to the family, how they greeted and spoke with the families first and then went down the line to other politicians, investors, business people, celebrities. So it kind of prioritized in her mind that these people were more important than everyone else, and how genuine they were in consoling them and speaking to them. Also, it talks about how she passed out at the White House. So that was absolutely funny. I like how she pictures and talks about Obama in her mind. You just have to, if you haven't read it, just definitely check into it. So I just like how the way that she explained stories or things that have occurred in her life that you can actually like visualize and see it and laugh right along with reading. This thing was more so of a poem, and that's one thing about this book. There are multiple poems throughout. So let me revise my previous statement. There are 14 chapters in the book and 10 poems. So that should make it a little bit more easier for me to break this down into 4 parts. So yeah, that'll make a lot of sense because I'm doing 3 today. And I'm not really gonna talk about this particular poem. I want you guys to read it and give me your thoughts. So the last chapter to discuss today is demonetized. I did not want to say the word because I don't want to get my channel, you know, flagged or anything, but you use your imagination. So with this chapter, I kind of already heard the story because she was doing interviews about how she was scammed by this guy that she met and fell in love with, and come to find out that he was just a professional con artist that swindled women out of close to over $4 million, and how he used certain tactics to isolate her and was just, baby, the Tinder swindler all over, reincarnated before we knew about the Tinder swindler. So this chapter really reflects on how at that period of time she allowed herself to be vulnerable, and while she was also dealing with her mother's illness and the loss of her mother, everything just hit her all at once, especially when one of her friends found out who he was by doing, you know, a little background. And the thing is, he tried to manipulate her and pit her against some of her friends so he can isolate her. But luckily, she had people in her corner who was like, no, something isn't right. So with this guy, she met him at LA Fitness. I think it was LA Fitness, or it was a fitness center. And he kind of like wooed her, introduced her. Sorry about that, my battery died. So like I was saying in the last chapter, demonetized, I like the fact that she was very honest and open with what took place with her. She took accountability to not recognizing the red flags, and I also think that her approach to trying to get her money back and justice was something that a lot of women are too afraid to do. Some may feel embarrassed, and then you also have where the courts, like in her instance, didn't really help her. So she had to find out ways to finally get evidence on him so they would take what happened seriously and to prevent that from happening to other people. I also feel that with her explaining her life experiences will end up being life lessons for us. Red flags, I talk about that all the time on my other channel. Things that we kind of like go blind to because we are so infatuated with others. But here she just basically is talking about how she went through that. She had people to support her, and she made it her business to expose that person. So far so good. I'm really loving this book. If you have any thoughts, what do you think about the first 3 chapters? What do you think about the poem that's in there? This thing, and let's discuss more. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell. And as always, until we meet again.